Hey guys, what's going on? WhiteFox1225 here, and welcome to the third episode of Elder Scrolls Online Saturday. Today we're going to be talking about the Ask Us Anything that was released on Cyrodiil. We're going to be talking about what's actually going to be in Cyrodiil, what the gameplay features are going to be for PvP and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of information because I took a Christmas break. They're going to be back January 2nd. So we should have information next week to talk about, but just for this week there were no developer questions of the week. I also didn't get any subscriber questions. So really it's just going to be a shorter episode, probably 13 minutes or something like that. So now let's talk about the Ask Us Anything on Cyrodiil. So the first question was about how big Cyrodiil actually was. And the answer is if you walk from the most north point to the most south point, it'll take as long as it did to present the dungeon at QuakeCon. And I looked it up, or I watched the video, and that would be 13 minutes. If they're talking about the dungeon, or if they're talking about the whole QuakeCon presentation, because the whole thing wasn't just the dungeon, it would take 23 minutes. I think they're talking about just the dungeon, so I think it's going to be 13 minutes to walk across Cyrodiil. And it was kind of a weird answer. It was kind of weird the way they answered it, but I think they did it because maybe if they just said 13 minutes, a lot of people would think like it's too small, so I think that's the reason they answered it like that. But it was really weird, and they actually had to look up the answer, which was kind of weird. But, so let's talk about more of the questions. So, someone asked how long would it actually take to capture a keep, and it's going to take 15 minutes, around 15 minutes to capture a keep that's undefended. But remember that even undefended keeps that have like no one in it will already have NPC guards in them. So a completely empty keep with no actual players in it will take 15 minutes to take. Now that means like a keep with like, I don't know, 200 people in it on each alliance. That's going to take a while. That could be like an hour battle, and that's really awesome. And you know, I love the huge battles in MMOs where like you're fighting for like an hour and you finally get it, and it's just a huge feeling, a huge reward, or a great feeling of like accomplishment when you actually get to capture it, or a really bad feeling of failure when you get pushed back and the other team takes it. But I'm really excited because this answer really does mean that there's going to be huge battles for keeps, huge long battles. You know, I would love to log on, like I usually play video games at night. I would love to log on at like 12 and play till like 5 in the morning, just battling over one keep in Cyrodiil. I think that would be so cool, and it really sounds like that's what we're going to get, so that's awesome. So, one question was, where can siege weapons be deployed? Now, siege weapons can be deployed anywhere that has enough space and that's a flat area. So that's cool. It's not like restricted to one area when you're taking a keep. It really is just a free area anywhere you want to put it. So the next person asked, how would you know if someone's taking one of your keeps? And you'll automatically be alerted when someone's taking a keep on your map. It'll probably be flashing, or there'll be like a little icon under it, something like that. They also mentioned that for the Emperorship, everyone will know when the Alliance gets a new Emperor, and that's cool because, you know, if you become Emperor, you want everyone to know. Speaking of that, someone asked how long someone will be able to be Emperor, and like I said in last week's episode, it will be really short term, because if you log out, if you leave Cyrodiil, it'll be really short, and that's basically what they said. I doubt anyone will be an Emperor for more than a day. I really think it's probably like almost impossible to do that unless you just like sit in front of your computer for like a month, and that's like it'll really be impossible, I think, to be Emperor more than like a day. But let's talk about levels in PvP. Now, I talked a little bit last week about the balancing, like different levels in Cyrodiil. It's obviously the upper level is gonna have the advantage over the lower level. But I talked a little bit more about that, and they talked about how you'll get more alliance points for killing a higher level. So if I'm a level 10 and I take down a level 50, I'll get a bunch of alliance points. Or even if I'm a level 50 and I take down a level 50, I'll get more alliance points than I did if I took down a level 10 as a level 50. So it really rewards you because it's obviously going to be more of a challenge to take down the level 50s. So now let's talk about actual levels in PvP. So they said that PvP there's going to be 50 levels and there's going to be 25 titles. Now a title is like something you earn through accomplishing an achievement, I don't know, getting to a certain level, getting a certain amount of kills, something like that. So that's cool that we're going to be able to work towards those. I really love assignments in games. It's something that's, I don't know, it's kind of just a little thing that I love. I love getting assignments, especially when they have like cool titles involved that you get to get, stuff like that. So, something they also mentioned is someone asked if they could use costumes in PvP, and I assume they mean like the disguises that they've already mentioned. and you can use them in PvP, but they have no advantage, so really no one's going to be using those unless they just want to look cool. Someone asked what stealth-based characters are going to do. Now, I already mentioned that stealth-based characters are going to be really good at sneaking up behind siege, people using siege weapons and burning them after they've killed the person operating on them. But this person wanted to know more about that, and they mentioned that stealth characters will be really good at camping near the Alliance entry to Cyrodiil. So, like, if I'm on the Ebonheart Pact, I could, like, camp near the Aldmeri Dominion area and just kill those guys really easily because they won't be expecting me and they won't see me. They also mentioned that you could, like, hide under a bridge. So really just, like, sort of hiding in the shadows and waiting for someone to come past and just attacking them. And obviously, since you get the sneak attack, you'll have a big advantage on them. So, and then you'll probably be able to kill them and just keep doing that. And that's cool. I love assassinations in MMOs. I love sort of hiding and then attacking from the shadows. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to be playing as a stealth-based characters. That's what I do in like every MMO. It's also what I do in every Elder Scrolls game. So it's kind of perfect. And I definitely love stealth gameplay. And I'm so excited to just play in Elder Scrolls Online and just do all those tactics. So let's talk about the resources. So you all know that farms and like mines and wood mills, they'll all help keep your keep strong, keep the NPC guard strong. You guys know all about that. But they asked how close those will actually be to an actual keep, because each keep will have their own resources like that. And all of those will be 60 seconds away, because obviously when someone's taking your keep, they want to weaken it first, so they'll probably attack those first. So they want people within the keep to be able to go to the resources and defend them, and they're only 60 seconds away, and I think that's smart. You wouldn't want to have to like walk 10 minutes to get to a resource that's for your keep that's, like I said, 15 minutes away. That would just suck, and they're not going to do that, and I think it's just logical and it makes sense, and I'm glad that they did it that way. So the next thing that they posted kind of confused me. It was about stealing Elder Scroll, and this guy asked, can a small group steal an Elder Scroll? Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I've never heard about anything about stealing an Elder Scroll in Elder Scrolls Online. I've never heard anything about that. But this was a question from Germany. I don't know if the Germans are getting like different news than we did, but I've actually never heard anything about that. So I apologize for not knowing anything about this, but I'll give you the answer to the question. And if you guys do know anything about stealing an Elder Scroll, just let me know in the comments or message me or something. But stealing an Elder Scroll, this guy asked if a small group could do it, and they said a small group could possibly pull it off, but it's definitely going to be a big group thing, because once you steal the Elder Scroll, everyone will know where it is, and then they'll just attack you and kill you if you have a small group. So it's definitely going to be a big group activity. I wish I could go into more detail about this, but like I said, I didn't know anything about it, and I even like tried to do some research online and couldn't find anything. So if you guys know anything about this, just let me know, because I really don't have no clue what they're talking about. So let's talk about the resources again. So they mentioned that once you take a resource, some guy asked if like the keep will immediately be weakened, like all the bonuses they got from the resources will be gone, and that's not true. Once you take a keep has a resource, they'll build up power, and once you take the resource away, they still have that power, they're just not gaining any more. So that's a good way to do it. It's not like they have to keep the resource in order to keep their NPC guard strong. Having the resource will make the guard stronger and stronger and stronger, and once you take away the resource, they won't be getting stronger, but they won't immediately be weakened unless you do damage to them. So I think that's a good way to do it. I definitely like that better than just the resource like gives them a buff, and then once the resource is gone, they go back to their normal level. I like the way they did that. So one quick thing they mentioned is that raids will have up to 24 players. I think we already knew that. I already knew that. That brings up a good thing, is that they haven't talked about PvE like at all, which is really weird because they keep doing these like PvP trailers, PvP Ask Us Anythings. I feel really bad for the people who love raids and stuff, because they're really not releasing anything on that, and hopefully they do it soon, but like really just this game seems more and more focused on PvP, which isn't bad for me because I love PvP and I'm not a huge PvE guy, but I feel bad for those of you guys who do, because that really was the only thing they like talked about for PvE in like a couple months, and it was just like one question that we already knew. So one guy asked if there will be like skills or something that will help a group speed up to get to an objective faster, and there is one in the Alliance Worth skill line, but they said really the best way to travel in groups or alone in Cyrodiil is going to be by horse, and we saw this a lot in the PvP trailer, and it sounds really exciting because I don't think there's been a lot of MMOs that were like in PvP had a lot of mount combat, and this one seems like it's definitely going to have a lot of people riding around on mounts in Cyrodiil, which is something that's really cool. Something that we saw in the trailer, there was a lot of clips with mounts in them, and that's really exciting because I just not something that's fresh to MMOs. I haven't played too many MMOs where mounts were like a big part of the game, and this one definitely seems like that's going to be the case, so that's really cool. And it's definitely something kind of unique that they're bringing to PvP. So next they talked about the new siege weapons, or not new siege weapons, just how the siege weapons worked and what they're best at. So the trebuchets are best used at keep walls, breaking them down, punching a hole through the wall. The ballistas are better at taking down other siege weapons, so say they have a catapult, your ballista can hit that catapult and destroy it, and that's what the ballista is going to be really good at. And the catapult is good at covering like a wide area, so like say there's this huge area of players like running up towards you, you can fire your catapult and take out a huge group of them. And then they talked about this new one that they haven't mentioned in a while or at all, which is the flaming oil. So the flaming oil is going to be like on like the keep itself, and when enemy like ram operators come to your door, you're just going to push the bucket over and it's going to get the flaming oil all over them. And this is something really cool. When I did my video on the siege weapons, I was trying to look for the flaming oil information because I thought I had heard about it before, but I couldn't find anything, so it's cool that they're definitely confirmed for the game. It's definitely something I like using. I really like using that in Chivalry. If any of you guys played it, it was really fun to use, and I think it's really awesome. Maybe they'll have to have some sort of way to put the fire out, maybe using like frost spells or something. They haven't talked about that, but definitely exciting that we get a new siege weapon confirmed. So one guy asked if there'll be queues in PvP, and there will be queues in PvP, but they did say if you can't get in, you could get a pass to your friend's game, which we already know all about. But that's okay. I mean, we don't want Cyrodiil to be super crowded, so, you know, I get why they had to make queues. I know some people will be annoyed at that. I know a lot of people get frustrated with MMOs when they actually just can't get into PvP, but hopefully the guest pass system will work well and we'll be able to get into PvP whenever we want. The last question was about what happens if, like, your game crashes. Can you log back in and immediately be with your friends in the location that you were just in? And they said for a short period of time you'll be able to get back in, which is really cool. I mean, hopefully the game won't crash that much, but it's nice to know that if it does, you'll be able to get right back where you were with your friends. So that's pretty much it for the Ask Us Anything article. And that's pretty much it for the video. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of information this week and I didn't get any questions. Hopefully next week's video will be longer. I'll definitely try to get all the information I can, but it's kind of hard when they don't release anything. And if you guys do have any questions, make sure you send them in because I love answering those, because honestly they help lengthen up the podcast and give me more stuff to talk about. So if you have anything that's on your mind, any questions at all, just send them in and I'd be more than happy to answer them. Other than that, that's pretty much it, and hopefully you guys liked the video. If you really liked it, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.